March 22nd, 2025. Daily Bread. Passage: 2 Kings, chapter 4, verse 38 to verse 44. Key verse 44. Title: Elisha feeds God's people. Elisha returned to Gilgal, and there was a famine in that region. While the company of the prophets was meeting with him, he said to his servants, "Put on the large pots, and cook some stew for these prophets." One of them went out into the fields to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and picked as many of its gourds as his garment could hold. When he returned, he cut them up into the pot of stew, though no one knew what they were. The stew was poured out for the men, but as they began to eat it, they cried out, "Man of God, there is death in the pot," and they did not eat it. Elisha said, "Get some flour." He put it into the pot and said, "Serve it to the people to eat," and there was nothing harmful in the pot. A man came from Baal-Shalisha, bringing the man of God 20 loaves of barley bread, baked from the first ripe grain, along with some heads of new grain. "Give it to the people to eat," Elisha said. "How can I set this before 100 men?" his servant asked. But Elisha answered, "Give it to the people to eat, for this is what the Lord says, they will eat and have some left over." Then he set it before them, and they ate and had some left over, according to the word of the Lord. Daily Bread Message. During Elisha's ministry, there was a severe famine in the region. Elisha was meeting there with some of the other prophets. In their hunger, they collected some herbs and wild gourds to make a stew, not even knowing the ingredients. It smelled so delicious, but it had a bad effect. The men suspected there was something bad or even poisonous in the pot. God's servant Elisha purified it with some flour. This represented his dependence on God. Then the stew in the pot became edible and nourishing. Another time, a man came bringing Elisha 20 fresh loaves of barley bread, baked from his first ripe grain. It was meant as a gift for Elisha personally. But Elisha instructed his servant to give the bread to the people. The servant objected, because it was not enough for 100 hungry men. Elisha was sure of God's provision, even in that desperate time. God blessed Elisha's generous heart and his faith in God's abundant provision. The bread became more than enough to feed everyone. Prayer. Lord, help me to trust you and your provision, even when times are bleak. Use me to feed God's people with faith. One word: trust God's provision by faith.